Hi everybody. I'm going to try to get a video put together for every class that we do in hopes that you'll be able to go back over these things and pull together information that you might be having a harder time reconstructing. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just pick here in Flash from underneath Create New ActionScript 3. Now this doesn't mean that I'm starting a programming file. It just means that the Flash file that I've started here uses ActionScript 3 because they work a little differently, 2 and 3. Now, you may remember that this white rectangle out here is called the stage, and it's very directly related to this area down here called the timeline, right? Now the reason that it's the stage and not simply the page or the document is because we animate things here. As time goes by on the timeline, things change on the stage. It's as if actors come and go. Now, the first day that we talked about Flash, we basically started to get to know some of the drawing tools. So, for example, I'm going to click the rectangle tool here, and I've got properties turned on. Now, if I look up here, if you can see my mouse moving, in this area, I can see that my fill color is white, my stroke color is turned off. That's what that means when you see that. Now, if I paint white on white, we're not going to see much, are we? So let me go ahead and pick some sort of color in here. And I'll pick maybe like a dark gray to go around the outside. Okay, so I've got a sort of an olive green, and I've got a gray stroke around the outside. Now, when I come out here and click and drag, there's my shape. Now, some of the things you might remember from the other day. I'm looking over here at the top of the toolbar, the selection tools, and I'm clicking the direct selection tool, the black mouse pointer up at the top, and look, when this thing gets really close to that, do you remember the little smile? It gets a little soft curve under it, and essentially that's just saying that it recognizes a straight line, and it's letting you pull a curve out of it. Right? Now I'm just undoing, which is why it's snapping back here. Now, if I come up close to a corner like this, it says, I recognize a corner, and I'll let you pull it out if you want, right? So there's a kite for you. Remember also that if you simply pull through a shape like this, you can cut it. And so if I just decide to select these different bits of it and slide it apart, that's fine with it. It doesn't mind chopping things up for me that way. I'm just deleting this off the stage. Now, I'm going to grab the oval tool and just draw a little circle / oval out here. Now, the other tool in our toolbox, besides the pointer up here, the direct selection tool for selecting things, is this white one, which is called the subselection tool. And it does something very different. Rather than, like I'm using the direct selection one here, rather than clicking and selecting the fill, or clicking and selecting the line, or double-clicking to select both, this does something kind of weird. Subselection tool, I click at the edge of the shape. And if you can see this, these little green circles have appeared. They're all around the outside. There's a green line which looks like it's replacing the stroke around the outside. Well, it isn't really replacing it. It's just showing you the nature of this object. That green line is the path. And every one of these little circles is what's called an anchor point. An anchor point is the part of the path that defines that section of the curve and the shape of the thing. And these crazy little antenna-looking things that have popped out the top of this one right here, those are called tangent handles. And it's kind of fun to think of them a little bit like, say, handlebars on a bike. Like, let's say I want to turn left, right? I turn the handlebar up that way. I'm going for a left turn. If I go around the outside of this shape, simply selecting the anchor point and messing around with the tangent handles, this whole thing can become a radically different shape very quickly. And so, whatever the shape we begin with, we're only a few moments of tinkering with it from having something really, really different. So these are vector graphics, and this is the way Flash works. By default, it creates vectors, which are stretchy, silly, putty sort of shapes, as opposed to the walls of pixels that we're familiar with in most image editing software on the PC. I'm going to get rid of that one as well. Now there's a lot of other little tools here, but for this simple short reminder, I wanted to take just one example. Now you remember the pencil, right? Here's the pencil tool. Some tools have fills and strokes. Some tools, like the pencil, have just a stroke, no fill. Now in this sense, if you compare it to a regular pencil in the real world, it's like, of course, it's just a line. Now, where the pencil's concerned, the controls are not purely and simply up here on properties, although there they are, right? There's a bunch of them. But also down here, now if you see this down at the bottom right, hopefully you can see all of this, there are 3 different choices down here, straighten, smooth, and ink, which basically say that in these different modes, the pencil tool will be in favor of straighter lines, smoother lines, or essentially just a freewheeling whatever kind of choice. So watch, you see we're on straighten right now, right? If I draw a line with, typical human wobbliness on a mouse, and I let go, it cleans it up for me, right? If I come down here and change this to smooth, it won't change the last one I did, but let's say I'm trying to draw kind of like a soft curve of things, right? It'll do its best to soften that for me a little bit. As I draw, you can see it softening it up a little bit, although I didn't do very well here, right? So, many tools have different modes you can go into, and you only see these modes when you have the tool selected, naturally. So when I have the pencil tool selected, I see these choices down here. But if I select something like the pouring paint can, they're different. The eyedropper, they're different or non-existent, right? So basic reminder about some tools here, and I think that we'll call that it for today. That was day 1 of class. So take it easy. I'll see you soon.